What up, nerds, and welcome to another redundant episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name's Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 478, recorded Monday, May 27th, 2024. Tonight we're talking about a new release, The Strangers, Chapter 1. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., Randeezy. What's up, man?
Welcome.
How's it going, buddy?
Are
you excited to talk strangers? It's going to get strange in this bish. It's going to get a little bit strange.
You know, this movie might not be as strange as you think, but we'll get into that. We'll get into all of it.
Okay, all right.
Stranger.
Last but not least, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy Soju, cuz fuck it.
Nobody cares. Nothing matters. Fuck it.
Oh, man. Did we call our shots about a bitch sesh this week or what?
We did. We're like, that movie's going to suck. Let's do it anyways. And here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Eating a pile of shit.
God damn.
Chapter 1.
I don't know you.
Pile of shit, Chapter 1. We got 2 more piles to get through, apparently. Before we get into the proper bitch sesh, let's tackle a little bit of housekeeping real quick. Here's your final reminder. Our June poll is currently posted on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this June. Randy, it's your takeover month. What are we doing?
That's right. We're talking cryptids this month, or this coming month. It's going to be a 3-way battle between Mothman Prophecies, Willow Creek, and shit, you threw me off my game. What's the other one? Last Broadcast. It doesn't take much to derail me.
Rob!
I don't have somebody constantly prodding me on that like I do to you. So, all right. Yeah, Justin, continue your Yelp.
My boy Randy's a bit of a cryptid nut. Tell me how those numbers are looking.
They're looking basically identical last week. Mothman Prophecies first place with 52% of the vote. Willow Creek with 30% of the vote. And The Last Broadcast with 19% of the vote.
Looks like we're doing a halfway to Christmas this year.
Mothman Prophecies.
Mothman.
Christmas in June.
True. I completely forgotten that aspect of the movie until you brought it up last week. Well,
it doesn't bother me at all, really. I haven't seen that movie in years, but I remember it scaring the piss out of me as a child.
Yeah, I remember that.
I saw it in theaters,
and I also don't really remember anything.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll see if that happens, though. There's still a chance for the other films. Let's not count our chickens just yet.
People love to go buck wild on the last day of voting, so we'll see.
They sure do.
But we might be going Mothman on your asses. Get your votes in before the end of the month. We'll see. In other Patreon news, we're dropping mini-casts every other Friday. We just dropped one last Friday. Juice, you're talking about a new Shudder joint called You'll Never Find Me. Good shit.
I was. Yeah, it's an Australian film. It is up on Shudder now. It came out late March, and it's a good one. It's a bottle movie. There's a lot of like kind of intense dialogue, but it's a very tense movie. And it if you listen to our review, this is something I said in my mini cast, but if you listen to our review on Barbarian, I feel like that movie kind of fleshes out in a way what the first half of Barbarian was like. So yeah, that's kind of the ideas of the politeness and safety that sometimes is touched on in horror, and like what you should do in certain situations and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good movie. I like it.
Right on. Very barbaric. Check it out over on Patreon.
Well,
in other Patreon news, this guy's not new, but just when he thought he was out, we brought him back in.
We brought him back
in.
Get it.
gotta give major shouts outs to your boy Slytoski for signing up on Patreon and showing us some love.
Back.
Welcome back, brother. Welcome back to the fold.
It feels so good. Oh, as is tradition around these here parts, we owe Slytowski the straight chilling salute. This one goes out to you, brother.
Slap my ass.
Slap me in the ass.
It's familiar. I like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that handprint anywhere.
I would like to touch on something. This is so we've mentioned this before, and I guess it has now gotten corrected or something, but essentially we just lost a channel on Spotify. So at one point, Spotify split our feed into two, and we had two completely identical channels available on Spotify. That was the only platform, I think. And it had its own separate followers and reviews and everything like that. So if you listen to us on Spotify, it's possible that if you were following us or rated us there before, that's gone. So just kind of keep an eye out, I guess. If that's the platform you use, that's the platform I use. So I know. So I was like, well, it's gone. And it, like all our reviews with it, and they just deleted it. So whatever.
You know, I really love the way they take care of, of the creators that keep them afloat. It's really great.
It was great. We contacted.
They pay us so well too.
We contacted them years ago about that to see if they could merge the two, and they were like, "No, we can't. No, but we can delete one."
Not enough cash.
We're like,
stranger.
"Well, don't delete it because the people that follow that might not know that there's another one." Yeah, and if we say it on the show and it gets deleted, if they don't find it, they're not going to hear us say that. So like, don't do that. And then it just happened anyway. So
they just did it now. So
and this is all moot to bring up anyway, because anybody who would listen to us there is not hearing this probably.
Probably, I mean, I'm sure if somebody listens to us regularly would maybe eventually catch on. But so I listened to us on Spotify. I didn't realize that was a thing until one of our listeners told us. I was like, oh shit, we do have two profiles. So I wouldn't have known. I don't
know how it happened, but it did. Anyway, hopefully you guys figured it out and you're listening to this and it, provides context. Yeah.
Go check and see if your review's up there. If not, 5-star that bit.
Hit us again, please.
Yeah.
Cool.
Other than that, this week my house is clean.
Bob, how's your house looking?
Pretty clean, man.
All right.
His house is clean.
All right. We're talking The Strangers, Chapter 1. Let's go ahead and kick it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Boys.
Bob, I saw you got that box ready to go.
You're
on hand-drawn art behind the scenes, Bob.
Right there. Sometimes you got to make your own blue.
The Not So Strangers, Chapter 69.
With a little cheeseburger.
That's a wet burger there, Mike.
That ketchup.
It's leaking,
The first issue with this movie is they replaced the Bluebell with hamburgers. So, I mean, that's just egregious.
With hamburgers that have like Tim and Eric level sound effects and facial mess happening.
Jesus.
That is... We'll get into
there.
it. Yeah.
We got to get there.
We're talking The Strangers Chapter 1. Brand new release is still in the theaters. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 31 minutes. This was directed by Rennie Harlan. It's based on a story by Brian Bertino, who did write and direct the original Strangers movie, and I think he had a story credit on the Strangers sequel as well. This stars Madeline Petch, Ryan Bown, Mattis LeJac, a bunch of folks that I don't really recognize. Apparently, Madeline Petch and Ryan Bown are both really well known for... Riverdale. I think Madeline's in Riverdale. Ryan's is in something else, but they are known entities. I wasn't familiar with them though.
I am also
that
not
guy
familiar
looked familiar.
with them.
I actually haven't looked it up, but we'll see.
Yeah, and also about 10 to 15 seconds of a very silent Richard Brake is also in this.
Oh, that's right. I was like, I had this moment where I was like, wait a minute, was this the movie with Richard Brake, or was it that Yuma movie? And it definitely was both somehow.
Yeah, both. Both in
they
a
just
diner.
They just had him across the set somewhere. So like, hey, you want to come over to our set for like 5 seconds?
Hey, you're a diner guy. Get in here.
You're a real diner guy.
Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. After their car breaks down in an eerie small town, a young couple is forced to spend the night in a remote cabin. Panic ensues as they are terrorized by 3 masked strangers who strike with no mercy and seemingly no motive. Gentlemen, brand new release, first time watch. Would you boys recommend folks check out The Strangers Chapter 1? Randeezy, kick us off.
Boring.
Yeah. So no, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it for theaters. I wouldn't recommend it in a hat. I wouldn't recommend it by a bat. I wouldn't recommend it in a train. I wouldn't recommend it somewhere that rhymes
In vain.
with train. In vain, sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
Like a million.
That was a really solid riff. I mean, I feel good about that. We should all feel good about it.
Plane was a pretty easy reach there.
Yeah, sometimes, the choke is right there. I got to go for that option every time.
For a second, I thought you wrote that out. I was like, damn, Randy prepared.
No, I didn't. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't nab Heidelberg style that way, and certainly not that ineptly. Yeah.
Someone's not an MC.
Clearly.
That is true. That could not be more true. Yeah, no, I wouldn't recommend this. Yeah, just maybe to general audiences who have no familiarity with The Strangers would get something out of this, but otherwise, no.
Okay, Juice, what about you?
Bob, I would absolutely not recommend this film.
Oh, you had me going.
I know. I knew you thought I loved it. Bob, would you recommend people check this film out?
It is a resounding no from your boy Bob.
Oof.
All right. Hopefully everyone's just listening to this podcast instead of watching this film and enjoying the shit fest that we're about to get into.
Enjoy.
It's gonna be
our kvetching, please.
Yes.
There's
please.
if you are familiar with the original movie, there is no spoilers in this conversation.
Well, actually, I was going to say that, though. I guess if you haven't seen the original movie, we're definitely going to spoil the original movie.
It's it's mostly a copy paste.
Not.
But but also, too, the things that are different, I'm going to bring up because...
Oh, yeah.
You got
what else are you going to talk about?
Yeah, well, exactly. What else are you going to talk about this shitty movie? So... We're about to spoil 2008 as well.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. If you haven't seen the original, might as well go watch it because it's pretty good. And then listen to our review.
That's worth watching.
Yeah.
Recommend.
If you have watched this movie and not watched the original, please do yourself a favor.
Go enjoy a breath of fresh air by watching the original.
Go enjoy a breath of fresh air, please.
Breast of fresh ass.
But it's great.
So, yeah, we're going to be spoiling some movies. And here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Let's just review The Strangers 2008 again.
We kind of have to a little bit, but
kind of. Yeah. Bob, you got that plot synopsis?
Oh, I got it.
Whoa, buddy. Oh, my guy. Whoa. All right. I guess give it to me.
I got it. I didn't even
Remind me, I
Wikipedia for this.
Whoa, big man Bob over there.
Oh, check out the brain.
You have access to Wikipedia?
Wikipedia?
What a great memory he's got. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm so impressed by Bob. So, all right, here we go. Young couple Maya and Ryan drive across country to Oregon. Maya has a job interview. They've been dating for 5 years. He has not proposed. They are not married. They stop off at a diner at small town Oregon town called Venus. Everybody is super mean. Their car breaks down and they're forced to stay the night in an Airbnb in the middle of nowhere. A creepy girl appears at the door asking if Tamra's home. They say no, and she leaves. Ryan then takes a random motorcycle back to town to pick up his inhaler they left in the car. He also gets some
fucking idiot.
He also gets some burgers. While he's gone, the creepy girl comes back. Maya gets super scared, so she gets high and takes a shower. She sees a girl in the house, and then Ryan returns and tells her she's seeing things just because of weed. They take burgers to the dome like they'd never eaten before in their lives. Then they see a dead chicken hanging above the table. And then a masked man bursts through the door with an axe. They go for the motorcycle, but it explodes. They sneak through the crawl space and go to the shack next door. Ryan finds a shotgun and saves Maya. They hear noise on the porch, and Ryan shoots the property owner who comes to fix the refrigerator in the middle of the night. They take his truck and try to leave, but get rammed by a bigger truck. Ryan and Maya escape. Maya calls the cops, but has bad reception. Ryan finds one of the strangers and says he's gonna kill her. He also says apparently he's killed someone before. He gets knocked the fuck out because he does nothing. They both wake up tied to chairs in the cabin. Ryan proposes to Maya and she accepts. Ryan is then stabbed and kicked over. We assume that he bleeds out and dies on the floor of the cabin. Maya asks why they're doing this, and of course, famously, they reply, because you're here. Maya is then stabbed and kicked over as well. The strangers then leave as the cops arrive, and we finally see Maya still alive in a hospital bed, writhing around in pain. Roll them big, beautiful credits.
Also, that guy's next to her.
A stranger? Who was next to her?
The big guy.
The masked man?
Yeah.
Oh,
Was he?
I
Yeah.
don't remember that. Or
I didn't notice it.
So
Was it
that's
in
why the
reflection or
whole.
something?
That's why it said like right before to be continued.
Yeah. To be
I didn't
continued.
see him, but
I didn't see him
sure. I wouldn't
Well,
doubt it.
It doesn't really matter or change anything.
It
Whether
really
he was
doesn't.
there or
It
not.
doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't make it any
You know-
more exciting.
No.
I think we could just talk about the 2008 Strangers if we want to, and I know we're going to, but really the review of this is going to have a lot of shocking, or at least one striking similarity to my critiques on Halloween Ends and Halloween, like just the Halloween reboot franchise, which
Randy.
Dude, well,
is
hang on.
the name. You
Go
have
ahead.
something?
Well, I was gonna say that it's funny that you mentioned that because I had a very familiar feeling watching this movie, and I was thinking back, and I was like, when did I feel exactly this way before? And it was Halloween Ends. It literally where if you go back and listen to us talking about that episode, Halloween Ends, I was watching this movie and I got about 30 minutes in and just thought it was a trick. I thought it was. I couldn't believe, my mind would not let me accept that it was real. It felt like, I texted this to the squad. I was like, it feels like a fake movie that's in the background of a movie that's clearly supposed to be a spoof on The Strangers. Like, that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
I couldn't accept that it was real. And I was like, I felt this way before. And I was like, Halloween Ends. I couldn't accept that this is what they were doing with it. And sorry. Go ahead, Randy.
No, yeah, and I mean, I'm sorry, Rob. Were you about to chime in?
Go for it.
Well, I think that there's, at least for me, I identified why I identified these movies together, and it's because this seems to be, and like really, the last sequel, I felt this way as well, and I complained about it there, the Pray at Night, which I was not nearly as much of a fan of as I think the both of you were. I think you guys were a little more.
I can't remember.
I liked it. I thought it was.
I think
a
Rob,
fun
you were
slasher.
into it at least. Justin, you might have been on my side. I can't remember, but
I can't either.
that's not good. Anyway, like I feel that making a sequel to the film The Strangers, in which the whole point is that it's a completely random and unknowable reason that somebody's killed you, is exactly what makes Michael Myers his most scary self.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest complaint with those movies is that the more you expound, the more you are required to fuck up. Like, they put out so many red herrings in this fucking movie as if it's a murder mystery movie. But if you actually find out who the strangers are, then it defeats the whole goddamn purpose of the fucking movie.
I think we might find out who they are in the sequels. Or
I think we've got to. What else is the sequel about then?
So they shot all three of these movies at the exact same time. So
Right.
there's a little bit of trivia on this, not a ton. They had, I believe, 52 days to shoot all three movies, and depending on the day, they might have been working on the first movie, and then the next day on the third, and the next day on the second, and like it was all over. I assume because of like locations and stuff like that are going to be reused. So they made all three at the exact same time, and I can't imagine the headache that would be. But this movie feels like the first act of a movie that was stretched the fuck out. It feels like, as I was watching it, similar to what you were sort of describing, it felt like an AI wrote this script. Like it was the most bland version of a slasher movie that encapsulated all of the very common poor choices made by protagonists and like all the silly tropes. And like, dude, the first 3 minutes of this movie, the guy is driving and he can't find his inhaler, and his girlfriend has to hand the inhaler, and I was like, here we go again. Here we fucking go again. With
Dude, how
Chekhov's
3 weeks
inhaler.
in a row have we
inhaler,
been doing
man.
this fucking inhaler, dude?
the
Ever since you
inhaler-
That's
mentioned
going to be
that.
merch.
The inhaler is a recurring character in this movie. It comes back. It's 3 scenes are all about the fucking inhaler. 3 of them.
I think saying that it's a
couldn't
character.
believe it.
Well, I was going to say it's saying it's a real character is a disservice to the actors, but I don't know that
Is it?
I don't know that it is actually, but I will say that like, yeah, it's more of a MacGuffin, technically speaking, where it's just like, but it's repeatedly used. It's like it's the Maltese fucking Falcon, but it's just this dude's inhaler, and it's just a means to split them up twice, if not 3 times. Like the first time it's brought up to establish it, twice it's used to separate the two, and it's like, fuck this, man.
I couldn't believe that it kept coming up, dude. I couldn't fucking believe it. There's and the actors, like, I'm sure they're capable, even though I haven't really seen them in anything else. But in this movie here, I feel like there's a profound lack of chemistry between them. The whole, like, they haven't proposed and they're a little upset and they propose at the end. It's supposed to be, pulling your heartstrings, obviously. And, like, it did not work for me. It didn't land at all. It felt very hollow.
I agree.
Yeah, this movie feel like you could have told me that this was the first effective, like, deep fake movie, like AI generated
Totally.
movie, and I could accept that. My brain could accept that.
Yes.
Now, I do. Sorry. I do want to offer some grace to Rennie Harlan here. Like, I'm not his biggest fan by any means. I've seen a few of his movies. Deep Blue Sea doesn't hit me the same way it does some people.
I love it.
Die Hard 2, I like a little better than some people, just because it's like passive enjoyment for me. But yeah, like the constraints that he was put under in this were not favorable, and I can understand like dropping the ball in a few ways. It does not at all make up for anything, and it definitely doesn't explain every decision that was made. Primarily the first and foremost being like, why remake this? Why remake it so closely? Why make it into a trilogy and completely undercut the very concept that made it scary in the first place? Why do those things? But once you get past that and you're given like the time constraints, the budget or whatever, like I am willing to offer a little bit of grace there, because that's not an easy thing to do. 3 fucking movies at once.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. It's a real challenge. And I give them credit for attempting to make that work. It does not.
I do.
Like, that's the real issue.
I'm gonna shit all over this movie, but I do have a certain level of respect for Rennie Harlan's other movies. There's a lot of them that I do really enjoy and appreciate. He's obviously like made a name for himself, and he is talented. This movie just fucking sucks, I think, though. So yeah, disclaimer. I guess.
This I don't mean to be so dramatic. I'm not, but the thing about it is, like, when I was watching this movie and just thinking about this idea, I honestly, this movie and its success, because you're like, oh, it's one of the biggest, so we might as well cover it.
It's
serious. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
It's the biggest straight ahead horror movie opening weekend of the year so far, which excludes like
Jesus Christ.
Ghostbusters and things like that.
Yeah.
But it made, I think, 12 million opening weekend, which just edged out the Night Swim movie, and it's now sitting at 24 million overall. So it's doing pretty good. Its budget was 8 million, so it's doing pretty good.
Like, honestly, this movie to me in my mind is like, what is fucking wrong with the fucking world? Like, it is the lowest common denominator, non-thought, eat this shit and love it type of late capitalism attitude that is so fucked and just shits all over everything. It's such bullshit. It's how is this the number one movie? Why is even okay giving this man grace? Like, I don't even want to do those things, because even like saying, oh, the original writer like signed on to this. Why? Why did he fucking do that? Why did somebody agree to make
flames on the side of my face?
Why did someone agree to make 3 movies in 52 days? Why? This movie should not exist. People should not pay to watch it. It should not be the number one film. This should be some kind of like restricted crime for media to replicate something like this. It's like, it's unacceptable to do something like this.
It was originally, so I think the first draft of the screenplay was something like 300 pages. It was very, very long. And I think when Rennie Harlan got it, he was
the remake was 300 pages.
Yeah, it was supposed to. All 3 movies were like.
Oh, okay, for 3 movies.
Okay, I was gonna say like, well, no wonder it was 3 fucking movies. If they couldn't.
How it just used the original script. I don't even understand.
Well, I mean, I guess in the next 2 they're gonna do a lot more. But there was so much there that they decided to split up into 3 movies, and that's how it all started, I guess. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I know that I get the sense. So the diner scene where everybody is basically being a huge piece of shit to these people is like very much a stereotypical horror movie thing where like, strangers roll into town and it's full of, bumpkin rude rednecks and stuff. But it was like to a level that was unbelievable, which is where that AI thing kicks in, where it's like, copy paste all these other tropes that have happened in millions of other movies, but doing it to a level that it's like you don't really understand why that's there or why that would potentially work. You're just doing it because people do it. But I think after watching the end of this movie and then considering there's going to be a 2 and a 3, I wonder if there's going to be a larger like cult aspect where those people might actually be in on it or something like that.
Ah, the Cult of Thorn. That was the most successful.
The Strangers is the name of their cult, of course.
We're so strange. We're 3 movies
or
about
even
us.
Just every decision is garbage.
Yes.
Any change, them having the diner scene,
Justin being completely flabbergasted.
It makes it worse because the whole point is not, it's random. They're even in the original one, they're in a familiar place. It's like his family's cabin or something. And he's taken her there because he was planning to like be engaged or whatever the original. But it's a familiar place. They feel safe there. They feel comfortable there. Putting it in this spot, it undercuts anything. It undercuts the whole idea or feeling of the original film. Why would you do this?
Well, everything about the original film is so like I rewatched the original film immediately after watching this one.
You lucky bastard.
I know.
Well, Beck and I were both like, let's do a straight ahead comparison, and it was a passive watch. I've seen the original Strangers probably 7 times, so it's not new. Like that's another thing is like this movie already had an uphill battle to climb, uphill climb because it's so familiar and because it's a remake, mostly straight ahead remake. So like. It already had that problem, but like it's so you're right. Like every new decision they make, the fact that that this isn't a familiar place, it just has to be remote. That makes it seem like it's more of a sequel to Wrong Turn or one of the dozens of other movies like that. And as far as Rob, you were talking about like the diner scene where everybody hates them and everybody's like bumpkiny and like shitty to them or whatever. I like that's been done so much that it was being lampooned by like Cabin Fever in like 2001, like before that probably, and something I'm not even thinking of.
They were even like already making.
Motel Hell was kind of doing that. Oh no, did they do that? They didn't do exactly that, but they did more of a Wrong Turn sort of thing, and were parodying it.
Well, it's such a trope that like we've had comedies of it now. Fucking Tucker and Dale have made. You can't do
you can if you do it well, but they don't.
So
they don't
done.
They don't do it well.
Why? Oh my god.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't order the turkey melt. He did.
He did order that.
Dude,
Even that opening scene is garbage. Like, why
the
are
guy
you gonna do
being
that?
chased- yeah,
the guy being chased.
it opens up with like stats on like
completely
violent
forgot about that, man.
crimes in America, and you're like, okay, spooky ooky, and this is one of the worst ones that has ever happened. And then you see a guy run through the woods getting killed or whatever. There's
In fairness, that was also like they did an intro thing like that, kind of like that in the original. It was very basic though, and it like for some reason the phrasing that they did in the new one like bothered me because it's like this is one of the most brutal. And
Yeah, it's
just
like an
watching
AI
it,
wrote it.
every true crime I've ever seen has been more brutal than this. Like
Yeah.
every single one of them.
The strangers fucking suck in this. They don't really do anything. They're not very capable.
Dude.
They're not like cunning. They don't have like bright ideas. They just kind of run around, and they have that like Jason Voorhees like magical ability to just like
Right.
pop up out of fucking nowhere. Sometimes in a very large truck that would make a lot of fucking noise. It's just like boom, magically
The
fucking
truck,
there.
dude.
Or
Or like
it's
exploding the motorcycle. Like
Yeah.
exploding the motorcycle. This man is like
how the fuck
5
did that
feat
happen?
away in front of you behind the motorcycle, and you don't see him light the flame that has to then trail up and then
it just happens.
Dude,
like nothing.
The perspective in this movie when they go into the shed to get the shotgun, that bitch is standing like right there.
Yeah.
They do this
They
like
keep doing
jump
that shit
little scare, and
constantly.
I was like, how would you not see a person? He's standing.
They're trying
right
to do
there.
what the original.
I know
did
what they're
very,
trying to
very
do.
well. Yeah, there's
They
like
keep doing it over and over
They
where they're
do.
like, oh, he's in the room and they don't see him. Oh my God. But that worked
That's
like twice and it
fine,
was
yeah.
dead silent and tense. This is not that ever. Like no, at no point do I feel tense in this movie. Bob,
they
I
had
cut you off.
they
Go
had a
ahead.
jump scare where the garbage disposal just turns itself on for no reason. There was a
That's
garbage
right.
disposal scare. Like the
Dude,
scene-
also, oh,
the scariest scene in this movie to me was watching the main dude fucking take that cheeseburger to the fucking face. The way he eats that burger is disgusting.
It is. It's like it's the custard scene, man. It's like,
Dude, you're right. It is.
There's
the
so much
ketchup
connective
is
tissue there.
ridiculous.
It's like a greasy strangler scene. It's very
It
fucking
is,
weird.
Dude, it
Like,
fucking totally is.
like I understand, like Joe, like if they had chemistry and it was like
Ugh.
a little more subdued, it would be maybe not noteworthy anyway. But it's so repulsive. It's so fucking repulsive to watch. And I understand that they wanted to get the dripping, but the only way they can make that happen is by making this man
Dude.
not just like wolf down a burger, but also just like completely. And I'm not kidding. It's like an Eric Andre show segment that's just covered in shit.
It is. You got to have the blood drip on his burger, and then he takes a bite out of it and then realizes that it's not ketchup, it's blood, and he looks up. Like, that's how you make the scare work, and they just don't do that.
I don't even know if it would work then, but yeah,
It would,
it
I
would
think
work
make
better.
it a lot better.
I want to say this.
Go, yeah,
Oh,
go
sorry, you go ahead. Okay, so like you were talking about how the strangers suck. I want to point out 2 instances that really made me just like, it made me curdle inside. I was just like, oh my God. Like, so one is when the Tamra girl or whatever is standing far away and the guy just walks up and like, hey, what's up? And she just kind of scampers off like fucking ridiculous little like I don't know, it was fucking Naruto run away. Like it's hilarious to me. And then the other one is when he has the brunette girl at gunpoint and she does this fucking weird like butterfly thing and then does like a Joker Harley Quinn laugh. And I'm like, that's not what this fucking is. These are silent motherfuckers that only ever say 1 or 2 cryptic things. That's what makes it work. You don't know anything. Now I see that she's just a fucking blithering mental patient and that's that. Like, I don't know,
I
man.
hated that
and
scene.
also,
But the dude's like, they say their first kill is the hardest. Well, you're not my first. And it's like, what is it? But he still doesn't do anything. Like, why say that?
yeah, when you just be blasting.
Yeah, if it's so fucking easy.
like I can understand him being like, where is
Well,
she?
Bob,
and then
so
like
he
after
killed
the
the
second
other
time you
guy.
ask,
Did he kill the other
Yeah.
guy? Dude, I just
no,
fucking-
He killed the landlord.
The owner.
Oh, yeah.
That's who he's.
That's his first kill.
Yeah, that's his kill.
You
seem so
was an
confused.
accidental
Oh
homicide.
my
Yeah,
god,
yeah.
dude! I said that, and
So
then
he's
forgot
already
it.
over the shock
Oh,
of
God.
killing
Yes.
somebody.
So
Well, he just wants to
stupid.
sound badass. They just want there to be a badass
Oh,
line there so bad,
Dude, I'd be
and it's
blown
not,
up. He was
especially
so
because he
blown up.
can't do it. He can't do the one thing.
Unbelievable.
He can blow the shit out of the fucking landlord without even looking closely enough to see who it is. But this woman who like will not answer his questions about where his wife or his girlfriend is.
Yeah.
That is just like fucking with him clearly and laughing in his face. You have already killed somebody. You might as well protect yourself now instead of just sitting there waiting for one of the other two motherfuckers to come around and hit you in the back. They've shown that they can just sneak up on you. You suck at noticing that. So why on earth would you not just like say, "Where's my spouse?" or "Where's my whatever? Where's what's her name?" And or just be like, and
I don't know why
blam, right in the fucking head.
the bigger truck that they like smashed into his truck. The baghead guy gets out and leaves it running, and like he doesn't get in.
Yeah.
it. He
I said that
runs
too.
away.
Yeah. I was like, it's running. It's
Get
on
in
you.
it.
And you're hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
Your leg just got smashed to shit by a fucking truck.
Also,
Why are you not going to get in the truck?
He's an
the guy is like right next to you, going backwards and forwards and hitting you over and over again. And you
have a
have a
shotgun.
shotgun
Use
in your
it.
hand.
Also, didn't he shoot one time? Okay. Oh my God, dude. He has a shotgun and they grab her head through the window and he shoots with the shotgun
Yeah.
at the. I was like, her head would be gone.
fucked. Yeah.
He's very lucky he didn't kill his fucking spouse or his.
Yeah, no,
What's
she
her
would
face?
be dead. She would be dead. And then it just, and how much, like the decision, okay, the original, you have a gun too, and you kill fucking Dennis. And that's such an amazing scene because of how it's set up. In this one, it doesn't mean anything because you don't even know who this person is.
He is an
I would
actual
say, like,
stranger.
By comparison, it sucks. It sucks a lot. I will say,
garbage.
like, accidentally shooting an innocent person would still fuck me up. I think that's still like
Sure.
at least there's some fertile ground there that you could.
But it doesn't
use.
really fuck
They
him
don't.
up.
It doesn't.
He's a little broken up about
He
it.
turns on a dime.
For a
He was
second.
for like a second. He's like, "Oh, the car. Let's go get in the car."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they get crushed. And then he doesn't drive away multiple times. And somehow that same car gets driven away by these same people, despite being fucking crammed into another fucking Jeep over
I
and
couldn't
over.
believe that dude would come over in the middle of the night to fix a refrigerator for these folks.
No.
I just don't see it happening. Unless
And
he's
also,
a bad guy too, but I don't know.
so the distance that he's standing from the edge of the house to where he shoots that man is probably more distance than when he's standing and shoots at the fucking window at his girlfriend's fucking
It's
head.
at least the same, if not more. You know, like
Jesus Christ.
he got better
What
at
the
shot. He's a better
fuck
shot.
Oh my God, dude. Actually, no, the first one, whatever. It's so fucking.
Well, yeah, he hits the wall.
It'd be more precise to shoot in the direction of your girlfriend with the shotgun and not hit her.
It would be.
So-
When this dude leaves town or leaves to go back to town to get burgers and his inhaler, and the girl is like alone, they like kind of start to build tension, but it's undercut by everything she decides to do while she's being scared. Because she doesn't fortify the house. She doesn't like barricade a door, lock a window, call the cops. She calls the cops way too late in the movie. Instead, she like plays piano and gets high, puts on a record, takes a shower. She's on fucking proper vacation. She's not doing anything, and it just like is so. It's so enraging to watch. Like we've seen so many horror movies. Even if you're not nerds like us, like. You get a knife. You put a dresser in front of a door. You do something.
Also,
Anybody who has experienced, anybody who's experienced not even a horror movie, but just like fucking parodies of horror, like anybody who has ever thought, "What do I do if I realize somebody's in the house, or I think somebody's in the house?" the first thing you do, and the first thing that Liv Tyler does in the fucking Strangers in the 2008 is grab a fucking big ass knife, grabs a weapon. It takes this movie more than halfway through before anybody even says, and they say it first, of course, because you have to say it. We better get a weapon. Like, fucking dude comes back. He's like, we need to get a weapon. Like, no shit. You've been terrorized for like upwards of 2 hours now. What are you talking about?
No, that's
you can't
ridiculous.
find a blunt instrument or a knife or anything. Like,
so these people make no sense. The guy has the attitude. These people are ripping us off. Oh, you fucked with my car. Oh, you didn't do this thing. And the first thing he does when he comes back and she says there's somebody in the house is call her like a stupid fucking bitch and she's crazy.
It's just like, oh, you're just high.
You're just a dumb fucking bitch. Shut the fuck up. And
he said that
like, make me a Sammy.
As a direct quote, actually.
Yeah.
Also, too, this town, didn't they like say it had like 400 people in it?
Yeah,
right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Or something, yeah.
Where the fuck did that hamburger come from? There is nowhere where that like, will you think there's a fucking McDonald's?
Yeah, he went to like a trailer. It was like a food truck. Yeah.
Oh,
people were shitty to him.
I totally like. Oh, maybe I like blocked that out.
He has a conversation.
I don't remember
because there's a whole segment where it's just a diner scene part 2.
Checking my
except
phone.
He's a
so there's a food truck in this town of 400 people.
I mean, that's not that unbelievable that there's like 1 or 2 spots that people go at night. Like, I think that's possible. I've like stayed in small areas, and usually there's at least a bar that'll have some food available.
Stop bragging, Randy. Damn.
I mean, it's just true.
All right, I was checking my phone then.
But the waitress, the younger mechanic, and the 2 people that were just married also, I think, were there, and they gave what's his dick a hard time. It's like, oh, let's come. And the guy's trying to be he's trying to be nice about it. He's like, yeah, hey, how's it going? Yeah, I met you earlier. And I think he's trying not to be a dickhead again, which I guess he learned his lesson. I don't fucking know why, but he just like acts pretty differently towards everybody now. And he walks up and says, oh, yeah. And she's like, oh, have a beer with us then. If you want to hang out, that'd be great. And he's like, oh, sorry, I got to go. You know, maybe next time, whatever. And then as he's walking away, like, fucking dude thinks he's too good for us and shit like that. And then the people in the fucking food truck also, like, don't say one word to him when he orders. It's like fucking ridiculous. People really resent the vegetarian thing in there. And it seems like an easy thing to make people seem like rubes because they just don't give a shit about your vegetarianism.
There was also like some conversation in the diner about them having dated for 5 years and not getting married, and like the waitress, like,
oh yeah,
very loudly is like, well, what are you waiting for? And he's like, well, right now my tuna melt, or ha 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 ha. But it's like a very personal question to loudly ask, and when they're doing that, they keep cutting to Richard Brake. And he's like looking over his shoulder, like in a kind of disappointed way or whatever. Like, I don't know. That character is definitely going to come back. And I wonder if them like being out of wedlock or something is going to have anything at all to do with it. Or maybe I'm reading too much into it. But also,
no, I don't think so at all.
Another like little teaser moment they have in this is when they're going through looking for a weapon. I think finally they look in a closet and there's a bunch of masks in there. Do you guys remember that? Like goofy Halloween
and they just never talk about it again.
Yeah. Oh, it's a cult, man. It's a shitty cult.
It's a fucking shitty cult, and it's like this is the thing. This is all, I think, built out of the original movie where they had the 2 kids handing out Christian literature right at the end. Like they are the ones who find the bodies. That is their only role. They get kind of menaced by the strangers on their way away from the crime scene, but in a way that didn't seem menacing to them or seemed like just sort of iffy to these kids. And then they find Liv Tyler's body, and that's that.
Yeah.
They built the entire town around this idea. It's clear because the lady in the food truck also tries to give him literature.
Yeah.
The same literature.
Oh, God.
So it's very clear what they're setting up. And I think, like, I thought this from the moment I saw the trailer. I was like, well, the key difference in this is going to be the Liv Tyler character is going to live, and she's going to be inducted into this.
Well, she lives. Well, maybe lives in the first one too, doesn't she? Don't they find her body and she like wakes up or something? Or
no, I don't
know.
So now that I remember,
okay, maybe not.
No, she doesn't.
I didn't
and,
rewatch the original.
She does make a 911 call, but like I think she's dead by the time the kids find her.
Okay,
'cause
gotcha.
They don't know where she is. She doesn't have an address.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Like it just like I think that they just remade this one rather than make like a sequel strictly to create a new Scream Queen. That's their goal, is to make a Laurie Strode out of this character.
Maybe.
Dude.
Who's going to survive, who's going to eventually like either
Yeah.
like, and I think that they're going to try and undercut that in the third one by having her eventually join the clan or well, join this group.
Damn,
of
Randy.
strangers. Maybe it is the clan. We don't know.
We don't know.
That
It's-
would be very on the nose, and this movie's nothing if not on the nose. So
Jesus.
I don't know. I think she's also going to struggle a lot with survivor's guilt because she was already talking about how like they went out there for her job interview, so she felt guilty,
Yeah.
dragging him along and stuff. So like I think they're going to deal with a lot of that, and maybe the cults will manipulate her into maybe joining. I don't know. And then the third one, she'll like snap out of it and kill them all, or it'll the strangers.
Even just
any version of that sucks.
the to be continued at the end just feels like the cheapest piece of shit. And God, this whole idea, a trilogy of this movie, it's like the same thing. It's the same shit of, we bought the rights to the Exorcist, we're gonna make this trilogy. Well, this first movie is the biggest piece of shit garbage I've ever seen, and I don't want a trilogy. Well, we're fucked and we're gonna put it on anyways. Well, fuck you.
Well,
like
now they
that's what I'm
better put
talking
it
about.
out.
The whole like yes, late stage capitalism thing. It's like I don't know, man. It's like getting a roll of Oreos and finding out there's like only 2 in there or something. It's like there's just like they're just fucking you. Like this is the biggest piece of garbage ripoff shit I've ever seen. It's
Is that all, stranger?
such bullshit. It's such
Maybe-
garbage. It's
Maybe
such
the
garbage.
next 2 movies are going to be fucking great.
If they completely subvert all of the like hyper expected
There's no
shit
way.
that they did in this movie, then maybe. But like the thing is, like I don't think there's a way to. I don't think there's a way
Impossible.
back. I really don't think so. And it's like everything else set aside, the core conceit of this movie depends on the unknowability of the strangers. That is what it is built on. That is the foundation of the fear. And if they start exploring who it might be and why they do things, that fucking undoes everything.
I like how. What a solid laugh that suggestion got.
We can't. You know what? I've learned my lesson now. We've gone through. It's almost here now. It's been almost 10 years where we've been going through this process. A fucking decade. We said the same shit about Halloween. Maybe the next one will be good. Maybe they'll wrap it up well. Maybe it'll be capable. And then we get this fucking.
It just keeps getting worse.
And then,
worse.
well, hang on. And then we get this fucking trilogy of The Exorcist, and we're like, well, maybe it'll be good. It's not. It's not good because it's good. It's literally just money. It's just fucking cheap dollar signs. So that's why it's impossible.
Make
especially
your money poor.
I know it's not going to be good because what you just said is they shot this together.
Yeah.
The acting is going to be just as garbage. If you're acting this way on day 1 and then you shoot a scene for movie 2 on day 2, then it's going to be the same and it's terrible. The acting, it doesn't feel like real people. I would believe it's fake. I would
Hallmark.
believe it.
The
It's
acting,
garbage.
because the writing, and I don't know how much of it is due to the acting because I don't know these actors outside of this movie.
Yeah.
But the writing makes them into a Hallmark
Sure.
movie. That's
Yeah.
the level of
Everything they
performance
do
we're
is
receiving.
stupid.
Yeah, the thing is, even if they didn't make the changes, if they did a fucking Psycho remake and this was the same movie with the same scenes, it would still be garbage because the acting and just the structure it's so inferior in every fucking way. But I'm talking about this feeling like a movie that was stretched out thin. There are at least 3 scenes I can think of where nothing happens for like 10 minutes when they're crawling under the house and they like do the nail thing and she's like
Hey,
trying
now,
not
there
to
was a rat. That happened.
Dude, the spooky rat. Oh my
the
god.
rat, it didn't do anything. It was just on his shoulder, and he got slightly spooked.
Yeah.
Then she puts her hand in the nail. She doesn't scream, and nothing, and they crawl out the other side.
Well, it's trying to build tension with the person above them, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I don't know how or why, but
sucks
it
at building tension. It kind of starts to percolate when dumbass goes to get cheeseburgers. It like kind of starts to get there when the girl's alone. But
Except
then
she's being
everything
so
she does,
stupid.
yeah, it sucks all the tension out of the room because you're like, well, this is a fucking idiot. Like, she deserves to die at this point. Fuck it. Like, why?
It reminded
it's
me
not believable at all.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Cabin in the Woods when what's his name, the stoner guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's like
Marty.
hearing the voice. Marty's like hearing the voices, and Marty's all like it's like, go for a walk. I'm gonna go for a walk. Is whispering, and he's like, I don't have to put up with this. This is not real. I'm going for a walk. That's what she was doing this whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
And that has been taken. That whole it's by numbers predictability. I will give them some credit if they do anything at all. That surprises me in the next ones, even if it sucks out loud. That's like, okay, at least you did something. Cult of Thorn is so I don't know, everything every shot was callable. Everything that happened in this movie was expected. Nothing was new, and except for the things that are leading into sequels that are going to ultimately fuck up the concept no matter what they try and do with it. So surprise me, make it fucking wackadoo as shit, make it stupid. I would love that. Make it literally
they're not gonna do that.
No, they're not. Is this the one? Are they all supposed to come out this year?
So I don't think so. The thing that I saw most recently was, well, no other dates have actually been announced, so who the fuck really knows? Nobody.
Oh, okay.
But they were assuming the fall would be the release of part 2, I assume for Halloween, and then part 3 would be like first quarter next year. But I don't know.
Collider says fall 2024.
Well, so.
I do not want to commit to see it. People, don't pay to go see number 2, because if you do, it's just their studios are just going to keep doing this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that people are they need to fucking fail. Like, I'm so glad that The Exorcist did so bad, right? Didn't it? Just like
it
not make its money bad. Thank
it didn't
God,
make enough money, and everybody
because those people need to get kicked in the nuts in a metaphorical sense, which is their wallets. Like, don't go see these movies. Don't pay. Steal it. Just steal it.
Yeah, honestly, just don't watch it. Watch the first one,
just don't
watch the first one, man.
Even the sequel is way, way more entertaining than this.
I mean,
it's
at least that
capable.
has a style. I didn't like what they did with it. It felt very different in a bad way to me from the original. And it was doing, again, like a sequel is only going to give you more information, and more information means less scary to me in this movie.
So or you're just going over the same path.
I don't think it really did give any more information. Not that I can recall, anyways. It's been a while.
Well, the only thing that could happen is they reveal more, or they do this, like Justin said, they do the same shit that they did before.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, I don't really see it. I don't see what's scary about that. I liked the color palette in a different movie. You know what I mean? Like, the things that they added could be just a different movie, and I would be fine with it. But anyway, that's we're not here to talk about that movie, certainly. But like, I don't know. Like, this, the thing is, like, you're talking about these trilogies, and it's right. Like, there's a fucked up, weird obsession, not just in horror, but like industry wide with making trilogies, like the fucking Hobbit trilogy that turned into a quadrilogy, and the fucking like just adding more sequel. Yeah,
what is the
fuck that?
Why do they do that? Like, is there some financial benefit to doing that?
Not usually, but they trick themselves into thinking there is, because like those, like, that has made money before, and the only thing that Hollywood is going with is what they consider safe bets. Well, it's not a safe bet, and I don't know why they think it is, but they keep trying it anyway. The Exorcist, like, this is what's interesting. Like, the Halloween remakes or whatever, that first one, debatably good, bad, whatever. I felt like I had a good time watching that movie. The second one, I enjoyed a lot about that movie. The ending fucking missed me hard, and then I was hopeful that they would course correct to something at least acceptable for ends, and they didn't do that. That was the best case scenario for making a trilogy of Halloween. Again, another movie based on the unknowability of evil. Like,
Did they also too, when they did the new Scream, did they also commit to a trilogy? Was that like the whole thing?
No, they didn't. They were clearly going to
those ones that
keep
come out
churning
one at a
them
time,
out,
usually.
but they didn't.
Yeah.
Not yet.
They always
anyways.
wait to see how that one does. I think.
Yeah. I think.
But then I
think this was largely. I mean, I don't know. It seems like the idea to make this a trilogy was partly because the original script was so long. Like nobody wants to watch a 3-hour Strangers movie. I don't want to, anyways. So I don't know if they were going to give them, say, 20 days to shoot one movie. Instead, they give them 50 days to shoot 3, and they get sort of 3 bites at the box office instead of 1. And like financially, maybe that's a safer bet overall. But it's always a gamble. I don't know. Maybe that's why.
I feel like
we'll see.
Maybe the fact that they film them all at once, I think factors into this decision in particular,
Totally,
because
yeah.
I think that does save budget to do that.
Yeah, that makes
in
sense.
a movie like this on this scale, like you don't have to go back out there. You don't have to fly people out a second time. You don't have to do any of that shit. It's cutting prices, and it's based on it's a roll of the dice on the studio's part, but they see it as a safer bet because for them, I guess the worst thing that could happen is, oh no, this movie's successful enough to warrant a sequel. Gosh, we have to get everybody back out again, schedule everybody, and that's somehow worse. I don't think so, but for some reason, studios do. They just keep doing shit like this.
The only person that can really pull this off so far is Ty West. The man can do it.
Oh yeah.
That's like the one, and that wasn't a trilogy outright. It just
Zemeckis, I would argue,
kind of became one. Well, yeah, I guess that's true too, because they did 2 and 3, Back to the Future 2 and 3 at the same time.
God, I can't wait for Maxine to come out now.
Yeah, I know, dude. Same. I mean, this is a boo-boo movie. We obviously don't like it, but there's a lot of horror heat coming down the pipeline the next 2 or 3 months. A lot of good shit.
How
many
and then
trilogies?
the spooky season. Woo.
And then spooky season. Yeah, we got
and Fest season.
Fest
Whoa.
season.
True. Yeah,
we're gonna see
Festival
so many
season.
Festival.
fucking movies.
We're about to watch 1 million horror movies.
That's right.
I mean, I think we said everything there was to say about this. Let's go ahead and rate it. If there's anything else you guys want to mention, obviously do it. Juice, kick us off. Out of 5, how do you feel?
Not good, Bob. I don't feel good at all. I don't feel good at all, Bob. This movie shouldn't exist. It shouldn't have existed in the first place. It damn sure shouldn't be a fucking trilogy. It's not that old. There's nothing about the original film that came out in 2008 that hinders anyone from enjoying it today on a first time watch. There's no big technology difference. It's so fucking stupid. Every decision that's made in this is significantly worse. From the decisions, the writing, the acting is wooden, the cinematography is not good. The scenes just go on and they don't do anything, and there's no tension. And I don't care about these characters. I feel nothing at the end of this film, except relief that it's done, that I don't have to watch it anymore.
Oh, thank God.
That is the number one emotion. And then number 2 is frustration. And then number 3 is piercing anger.
God damn.
Hell yeah, cinema.
So that's what, now I will give one positive for this movie is I thought the way the music was kind of used in this was by far the best aspect of this movie. That's it. The best element was the way the music was utilized, the piano and the records. That's it.
Cool. 5 stars.
Other than that, I fucking hated this. I hated it. And I had that same feeling of like someone is pulling a joke on me. This can't be real. My brain wouldn't accept that reality that this is the number 1 horror movie of the year, 2024. It's so baffling and unacceptable. It's fucking just corporate bullshit greed. It's so terrible. Half star. Fuck this movie. Fuck this idea. fuck this studio, fuck everyone involved, lick a poopy butthole. Bob.
Damn.
That's
Out of 5.
Hi.
Unless you like that kind of thing, in which case, do something you don't like.
Then don't lick it. Just look at it. and long for it.
Boss.
You pieces of shit.
Bob, out of 5.
Yeah, this movie is not good. I would say The Strangers, I would consider it a modern day classic. I think a lot of people know about it. A lot of people have watched it. Those masks have kind of become iconic. I think they've done it at like Halloween Horror Nights and stuff like that. It's like kind of a known thing. I even think they were like riffed on in A Cabin in the Woods, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they were.
They're kind of a known entity now. So if you're going to remake what I would call like a modern day classic, I think you really got to have a good reason to do it. This first movie definitely isn't a good reason to do it. Maybe what happens in part 2 and part 3 could be interesting. I don't expect it to be, but maybe. Who knows? I will say I'm a big fan of what I have seen Richard Brake in. I think he's a very talented actor who can sometimes spend shit into gold. And if he has a bigger hand in the next 2, I think that will definitely bump up the acting power involved. But I severely doubt it'll be enough to like save a whole trilogy of movies, but that might make it a little more interesting. We've covered it, really. Everything about this movie is just so baseline AI written horror. Like every choice every character makes, the dialogue is so poor. It's so poorly written. The goofy jump scares, just the diner scene with the rude rednecks, the inhaler should be 3 times with the fucking inhaler. I can't believe it. It's just bad. It's just bad. We've covered it. I don't need to go on any further. I was going to give this a 1, but I'm going to deduct a 0.5 point for the fucking inhaler. It's getting a 0.5 star from Bob. Randeezy, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel so much vindictiveness about this movie as you guys do. That's a pretty high bar you guys just set in terms of
thank you.
Rage. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't like this movie one bit. Like, to me, it is everything you guys said about it is completely accurate. Like, it's tropey as shit. The way it's shot, and especially like again, like having watched the original right afterwards, the way the cinematography is done of that, it's like feels kind of handy cam. There's some like mockumentary style to it a little bit, like some shaky cam going on. Things that make it feel like you are in the room watching this happen. This movie has none of that. It's all very like rote cinematography is very rote. That's what I was trying to say. And you know, like all these things that they did so well in the first one, they do not do well here. They undercut the core premise by making it a trilogy in the first place, but also by making them, you know, not in a familiar location, as you pointed out, Justin. They make it like every fucking basic thing that happens in every Wrong Turn sequel happens here. You know what I mean? Like there's just nothing happening here that you can't get somewhere else done better. The acting, I think, is bad. I don't know how much to chalk that up to the writing, which is also bad. Like I feel like I've seen Richard Brake do movies that are written poorly. I've seen several of them actually, and he can only do so much. He's got charisma. The man's got charisma, but he can only do so fucking much. I don't have any faith that his charisma is going to pull this shit show out of the fire. I just don't feel like it's possible because they just undercut the whole core conceit of this thing in pursuit of making a trilogy when it could have been just a single fucking movie or 2 most. And like, I don't know, the fact that it's successful or whatever, I think that there's like shitty movies are successful every year. Like, I'm not so concerned about that because as shitty as I'm told Night Swim was, it made money and it was an original concept. Great. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch Night Swim.
Me too. I haven't seen it.
More over this
it
movie.
Could be terrible. It could be just as bad and it's still a better thing for the genre that movie does well because it is an original property.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you know, spend the money on that shit. You want to make that a trilogy, do it after that one's a success. This one, like, The Exorcist bombed so hard. The Exorcist, whatever it was, the most recent one, bombed so hard they just gave up on the other two, and I think that's wise. Like,
no, they're still making them, man. They're not.
Mike Flanagan they're trying to get.
They're trying to get Flanagan on board. Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get Flanagan.
That's true. Somebody's gonna make it, even if it's not him. They're getting.
I'm
made.
trying.
I know. I'm talking about the people that made that movie. They're like, no,
David Gordon Green
so bad.
Said,
yeah,
I'm gonna take my ball and go home.
Yeah, and I don't blame him, and I blame him for the quality of the movie, but not for taking his ball and going home.
Do you?
I don't know, man.
Tell.
Yeah,
I'm spinning out here a little bit, but all this to say, this is not a good movie. It's very overly by the numbers. It's insultingly by the numbers to the point where any average moviegoer that's not a horror aficionado will have similar critiques to us, people who watch horror every fucking week ad nauseum. That's not good. And it's not servicing the genre. I sat in a theater with multiple people around me, and I don't think that I saw anybody jump. I saw people on their phones. I didn't see people doing people weren't engaged. This movie, for being as tropey as any other successful movie, like Wrong Turns or whatever, that gets butts in seats, they don't last. It's trash. It's ultimately a trash movie, and it sucks. It just sucks. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 1. I'm not gonna minus the 0.5, but I will give it the 1. I think that there is a possibility that the sequels could enter so bad they're good territory, so bad that they make me laugh territory, and that I might be interested in. But I'm in no way interested in seeing the other movies. If we end up reviewing them, fine. But I'm not gonna go see these. And I agree to an extent, Justin. We need to not reward dumb sequels that look bad or dumb trilogies, all this shit. Just because it has recognizable faces or names doesn't mean anything. And it's not even faces. It's just titles, franchises. It's the IP world now, and everybody's trying to capitalize on that shit. And it just sucks. Have an original idea, put some original shit out there, catch fire with something. Please.
Word.
I'll tempt to.
I think we are still getting a decent amount of original stuff coming out. So there is a balance, but I'm just appealing to the wider to the people who make it and the wider audiences who are rewarding this movie. Yeah, I mean, I agree, but there was that Demeter movie did poorly. It's I guess technically more of a gamble if you're going to do something purely original, but that is what we want, man, for sure. That is absolutely what we want. Or you could knock it out of the park like Ty West has done, like we've already mentioned. Now he's making 3 original movies that are all straight bangers. I mean, do that, Anyway, it's a
horror icon right there.
Right there. Yeah. Classic character. With Randy's 1, that's going to put our aggregate at a 0.7. Not favorable. There you go.
No, not favor.
Let's go ahead and jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment, see what the critics and users think about The Strangers, Chapter 1.
Certified. Dead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to ask these gentlemen to guess within the best of their abilities to guess what the aggregate positive score is for both critics and users on RottenTomatoes.com. So we are going to take a look first at the critics, as we always do. Let's see, there are 82 reviews to account for here. Out of those 82, we need to find the aggregate of positive scores, and I'm going to start with Juice today. You've been on a tirade. Let's give you a chance to see if you can guess if the critics agree with you or not.
All right. See if I can keep that tirade going. This better not be high. It better not. I'm gonna say 30, an optimistic 30%. If it's higher than that, I'm gonna be mad.
I'm mad.
I'm not going to be a man of the critics anymore.
Oh, man. Bob, where are you coming in on that? Over, under? Are you going 90? What are you thinking?
I'll be the realist this week, okay? And I'll take the under. Well, all right, somebody's got to do it.
No, that's acceptable, Bob. As long as it's the under.
Oh, thank God it's acceptable. Oh.
I'll take the 25%, please.
25. All right, 25%. I'm going to say that you guys are right in the zone of interest.
Thank God.
One of you is only 4 percentage points off, and that person is Bob. You both overestimated this. It's 21%.
That's great. Good job, Bob.
21.
Hell skeet. That's great. It's great to hear. Love to hear it.
Vengeance will be mine.
That's the best hell skeet we've ever gotten.
That's a good bump. I like that one. Cool.
All right, let's jump on over to our audience score. There's 250 plus verified ratings here, so almost 300, I guess, getting to 300. We'll start with Bob, go in reverse order here. Bob, what do you think those 250 plus verified ratings amount to in terms of aggregate positive score?
I still think it's going to be low. I could see potentially folks watching this that maybe hadn't seen the original would think it'd be just like, a somewhat passable slasher. I don't think anybody's loving this. Like, I have difficulty believing really anybody would like be blown away by this. So I'll just take a 50, like right down the middle, and I think that's generous.
That is
50.
generous.
All right, Juice, you got a pretty wide open field here. What are you thinking?
I'm going to take the under on this one. I'm going to take a 40.
40. All right. Well, I'll say this. You guys were, again, right in the zone of interest, and the winning participant is only 1 percentage point difference away. The correct answer is 44%. Justin's going to steal this one away. 44% positive from our verified users. Yeah, hell liked movie.
Yeah, there we go.
You go.
We got acceptable.
It's good to see some
wins.
solidarity.
We got a skeet and a yeet, just the way God intended.
The old skeet and yeet in the right order, too.
Oh,
yep. That's what we like to hear.
We got there.
Yeah, just like last week, too, I believe. We've got a few skeet and yeets lately.
The skeet and yeet. Man. I just imagined what that could be, and I want to stop. So we're going to move on.
It took you this long to imagine what that could be.
I know. It's been a couple weeks.
Every week.
I don't engage with skeets and yeets. I don't do that.
My mind is running wild.
I'm here for the paycheck.
Make your money, whore.
All right. So
I love how you paid yourself off. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I gotta set up the bumps because you fucks ain't doing it. All right. The critics' consensus reads as follows. Lacking the chilling suspense of the original The Strangers and proving to be just unpleasant, this chapter 1 closes the book on itself.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Critics' consensus
I approve
is,
of that
coming in
pun,
hard.
actually.
That's fine.
Closes the book on itself.
I rarely do. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good. That's
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
The Strangers are stranging into theaters.
Stranging, man.
They're chaptering into
yeah.
theaters.
Stranger.
All right, let's read some negative reviews.
it.
I gotta think one of them's gotta be funny, so we're gonna find one. All right, here we go. Negative. Strangers Chapter 1 retells the story of the original so it can set up more interesting sequels. Unfortunately, by overstretching the introduction of a new trilogy, it contradicts the franchise's ethos and embraces tiresome horror tropes. That's exactly right. It's not funny.
Yes, that's
though.
100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well done to you. Okay, let's find another one. The scares aren't scary, the gore isn't especially nasty, and there's very little reason for us to care about the two people running around and screaming. That's fair, but also could apply to a lot of movies. It's not vindictive enough.
Yeah, the thing about the original that's so great too is like you give a fuck because there's so few kills, like deaths and that, but it's okay because you care what's happening in the film. And here
they set up great melodrama at the front end just between the characters. These are not happy characters that are just trying to be charming on camera and failing.
Yeah.
These are characters that are in a crisis mode already.
Well, here I would rather there be a bunch of like crazy over the top kills to at least entertain me. I don't even have that.
No, you
Because
really
I don't give a shit.
Agree.
God.
Across the board. Agree.
Gee.
I think that's what they do with Prey at Night. I think they lean into that goofiness instead of like trying to keep it super serious. And I think that was a really smart idea for a Stranger sequel because you just can't keep doing this. Clearly,
I don't like it, but I definitely prefer it to this. So, all right, here's another negative one, unread. follows the same basic rules and setup of the earlier movies without attempting anything to set itself apart in the least. Where are the funny? Somebody rail on this. Somebody. Let's see. The characters continually make dumb decisions that will have. Yeah, you're gonna have to be the voice of rage in this comment section. The characters continually make dumb decisions that will have you yelling at your screen in frustration. There are barely any kills, and the ones that are there are dull and uninspired. These are all just like salient points.
Yeah.
What is happening? Somebody go off the rails. The actors are fully committed, and there are a few cool shots, but Rennie Harlan's first chapter in this new trilogy follows the same beats as the original film, albeit less effectively. That is way too demure.
No. Okay, we're
not enough.
We're not getting enough. We're not getting
it.
Nope. Let's just skip it. We did enough railing, I guess, on our own.
We railed.
So we're bringing
an hour.
the heat this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we railed.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we railed so good.
God damn. There was a little bit of trivia, but I pretty much already worked it into the conversation overall. So that's about it.
All right.
But let's go ahead and jump into our Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the Week.
Juice, what is a Cooter and why is it an inhaler this week?
Whoa, Cooter's a character type in a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall look and attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, is there a Cooter this week?
I don't know. Like, do I have to interrogate?
The stranger.
They manipulate.
How about the entire fucking town of Venus, who are just huge pricks unilaterally, and like
they
painted
probably
as like every
all manipulate.
stereotype.
They're all arrogant. They're all pathetic. They serve shitty tuna melts and burgers.
Yep, lock them up. We got them, boys.
They're dressed dumb because they got stupid masks and bags on their heads. And then the one dude watches the chick shower. That's sexual deviance. Boom, got them all. All 5.
Boom, got them all.
Yeah,
Look at that.
Yeah,
lock them
this
up.
movie
We're
sucks.
done here.
Let's not even talk about it anymore. Yeah, moving on.
Remember that one episode that the boys from Straight Chilling were just completely broken? Their spirits were shattered by the Strangers, Chapter 1. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was called Halloween Ends, and then it happened again in 2024.
Again.
It is happening again.
And Scream 6 and fucking all the bullshit.
The Strangers are Halloween ending into
all the
theaters.
bullshit sequel remakes, piece of shit crap they're shelling out.
I'll tell you this. I won't be upset if this leads to another Strangers
And The
Halloween Horror Nights house.
Exorcist and all of the bullshit.
Okay, well, let's do something fun and talk about what we've been watching this week.
All right.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Randeezy,
what you been watching?
Yeah, so we've got a couple weeks of backup here. Some of this stuff has like been talked about on the Slack since, but I'll try and zoom through it. First of all, I finally saw Stop Making Sense, which is the Talking Heads concert film that is
cool. How was it?
It's lauded as like the greatest concert film of all time, and it's good for a concert film. I'm not usually that big on them. It's very creative what they do to like mix things up and keep the momentum forward. It's a good live show or whatever. I just don't think that like concert footage does a lot for me, generally speaking. So like it was good. I enjoyed it. I still prefer their movie True Stories. I think that's way more like interesting to me. But it was fine. I enjoyed it fine. I don't know that I'll go back for much of a rewatch, but I sure liked the songs. They performed them well, and they did some cool shit on stage. So
cool.
And the Tom Tom Club was there. Hey, also watched some of Everyone's in LA, the John Mulaney special live events that were happening on Netflix, and I could not and still cannot think of them without thinking that I would rather be watching the Chris Gethard show, which is that, but with no money and with no star power and much more chaotic. And I watched it for years, and I was a huge fan, and met Chris before, and just a very sweet guy. Mulaney, it's a funny show. It's perfectly fine. I like when it's talk shows have this sort of like going off the rails live feeling and like lack of format and just the willingness to allow things to become chaotic. But it was still too regulated for my tastes because I've seen the Gethard Show for so many years. Big fan of the Gethard Show. And that actually leads into one of the frequent collaborators on that show, Connor O'Malley, had a stand-up special drop. I forget where now, but I want to say it was YouTube, maybe. I don't know. I watched this special, and it's like from the perspective of a guy who is presenting his company, which is like Industry Comedy Solutions or something, and it's like a business presentation, and he's like a very loud and boisterous character actor kind of guy. He's in a lot of shit. He was in I Saw the TV Glow. I wanted to bring it up then. He's the manager of the Fun Center. That's the guy.
Okay.
And his character work is so good. My favorite character of his is still from Gethard's Show, which is the Beast Masturbator, who masturbates Beast for the Lord.
My God.
It's great. He's a fabulous character actor, and I liked his stand up quite a bit. I think I like his character work best still, though. Like, I don't know. We'll see how I think he's directing a movie now. Somebody told me on the Slack about a movie he's directing that's coming out, so I'm excited to see what that could be. Anyway, also watched a movie called Profile, which is a mockumentary, like it's like Host or like Missing, one of those movies. It all happens on a desktop, somebody's desktop.
Yeah.
But it's a dramatization of a true story about a English woman who infiltrates the recruitment processes of ISIS, and
Damn.
then event like gets basically recruited into ISIS, as many European young women often were and are, I guess, maybe, to join ISIS because they're disenfranchised or whatever, and they're like seduced by these people, and it's very, very fucked up. It's a very fucked up thing that's happened. The movie itself is a little bit melodramatic in a unreal way, which makes it seem like as much as it's like I'm immersion guy, and I like seeing all this stuff happen, and I've liked that in other formats. I'm very engaged by that. But it was like maybe the drama was a little bit too heightened for me to buy it, that this journalist is behaving in this way or that way all the time. So I don't know. It was a little bit of a mixed bag, but I'm generally favorable towards it. I think it was a pretty good movie. I don't know when it came out. I don't remember, but I think it's worth a watch. If you like Missing or Searching or Hosts, those kind of movies. This is not like Host because it's not supernatural, but it's cool. It's cool for that sort of thing. Also rewatched the movie A Futile and Stupid Gesture, which is about Tom Kenny and the National Lampoon. I hadn't seen it since it first came out, and man, that is just a very, very easy movie to watch. It's very enjoyable. A lot of great comedic actors in that, and playing other comedic actors. Watching fucking Joel McHale play Chevy Chase, a man who he is on record as hating very much, is pretty great. Yeah. Also watched 2 episodes of Fallout. I'm not sure I'm grabbed by this show yet. I don't know how many episodes it took other people, but for me, like the hype around it made it seem like it was like Game of Thrones level hype, and I was just like, I generally like it. I like the actors. I like it looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know. The pieces are still being put into place. I'm going to still give it more episodes, but I'm just not sure that I'm fully immersed yet into that one.
All right.
And is that the last one? Yeah, that's the last one. That's all I got.
Right on. Juice. What you been watching?
I've been watching this show on Netflix. I think I just got one more episode left to go. It's called The 8 Show. It's some new Korean hotness that's really trying to capture that Squid Game vibe and success, I think. It's the premise is there's these 8 people that are like really kind of like desperate for money, and they go into this warehouse that's structured to be this kind of game setup that they have
fictional?
to do. It's fictional. Okay. It's based on a comic, I think.
Okay.
And they earn money automatically, like money just generates for them, but at different rates based on some different aspects that you learn in the show. And the whole idea is to gain more time. So the money generates every minute. And depending on how long you can stay in the warehouse, depends on different things that you have to do to gain more time. So it's kind of like, it's like this take on needing money and how desperate people are and stuff like that and shit. It is not on the Squid Game level, and at times I think it gets quite sadistic and dark. It's quite dark actually in a way that's like kind of a bummer sometimes, but it's an interesting show. I got to see how it wraps up. I got one more episode to go, but it goes to some dark places, honestly. But it has a very bright aesthetic. Like it's very like everything's very plasticky and like, I don't know, like game showy looking or whatever. But yeah, it gets pretty dark. I watched In a Violent Nature, which is a horror film coming out very soon. Anyone who likes Friday the 13th movies should definitely check that out when it comes out. Maybe we'll be doing some kind of coverage on it eventually. And then finally, the last thing I've been watching is another Korean show that's on Disney, and it's called Uncle Samshik. And it's got the guy, the main actor, I always forget his name, Kang something, who was in the movie we covered for Memories of Murder. The main actor. He's a big movie actor here, but he's never done a drama. So it's his first drama. And it's a period piece about Korea, like right after the Korean War, and like it's kind of like got a mobster feel. It's like people like pulling the strings like behind the scenes, and like trying to gain some social clout and stuff, kind of like a Sopranos or something like that, but it's pretty good because it's a period piece, and that dude's a really good actor, and he's just kind of like trying to pull the strings and stuff. But it's pretty good. But yeah, that's all I've been watching. Bob, what you been watching?
A few things. I also watched Everybody's in LA, the talk show that's on Netflix, and enjoyed that a good bit. I definitely hadn't really seen much of the Chris Gethard show. I've seen it like here and there because you watched it all the time, Randy, but I got a kick out of it for what it was, and if they made more, I'd watch more. I like that Netflix is trying to do more live stuff. I think that's kind of a neat thing for these streaming platforms to get more into, and of course it just further solidifies this whole snake eating its own tail situation that we find ourselves in here. But I dig it.
Hell yeah, it does.
I also watched Miller's Girl, which is also on Netflix. It's that Jenna Ortega movie where she's like she's about to graduate high school, and she kind of gets into this romantic relationship with her English teacher. And it goes south, and she like blackmails him basically, and it's not particularly good, but it was entertaining enough, I guess. I don't know. It's like,
we've all been there, hey boys.
I see it every day. I kind of
I'm blackmailed every day of my life.
You slut. I kind of expected more from the plot. It's not. There's really not a whole lot going on under the hood. But it's fine. It's on Netflix. Spider-Man Far From Home. We revisited that on our Marvel escapade, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, what did you think of that one?
It's okay.
So you were much further down than me and Randy on Homecoming. So do you still like Homecoming more than Far From Home?
I do. I think I would prefer Homecoming to Far From Home.
Yeah, me too.
It doesn't, it just doesn't, it feels like it doesn't fucking matter at all. It's like one of those Marvel movies that really just nothing super interesting happens. Well, the one thing that like really matters happens in the mid-credit sequence, actually, which is, I don't know, I guess spoilers for this fucking movie, I guess, but where like everybody finds out who Spider-Man really is, and it's in the post-credit, mid-credits roll or what, like that's the thing that matters.
I forgot about that, yeah.
Everything before it is just like, I don't really give a shit.
They're in Europe, Bob.
They are in Europe. And you get to see like, Venice and London and some neat things. So that is the setting is neat. Yeah, I get, bonus points for the setting. It's okay. It's a popcorn movie. It's fine. I also finished watching season 2 of The Jinx, which is the HBO docu-series. And it's, Robert Durst, he gets caught. This season is largely about his trial and everybody.
Is it still going?
No, it's done. And they're,
Is he in jail?
yeah, I mean, I guess spoilers
Isn't
if you didn't read the news stories as this was really happening. But yeah, he gets convicted, thrown in jail, and then dies.
Oh,
He's dead.
Good.
Yeah. Kind
Good.
of, but he didn't spend any time in jail for his crime, so it kind of sucks. But
Did he die of natural causes in jail, or he get like?
He died of burping too much.
a cardiac arrest. It was some heart failure. He's old as shit. He was like 82 or something, and he finally got convicted. So he, for all intents and purposes, got away with it. Really, I mean, I guess people know, but he didn't spend hardly any time in jail for it. So,
well,
I don't know. That season is like pretty pointless. I don't really know why.
Just watch the news.
Yeah, I don't know.
Watch the news.
I powered through, and I
didn't. Apparently, I didn't know he was dead.
I also watched the first one or maybe 2 episodes of Fallout. I don't even remember how many I watched because I really didn't give a fuck. That is not something that is interesting me at all.
All right, damn.
It made me maybe kind of want to play a game because, like, as a game setup, I just don't like that. Would require me getting a whole new fucking system. Yeah, that too, actually. But
it wasn't. It wasn't like it was poorly made or anything. I just I just don't care for some reason. I don't know. I can't really.
It's got a lot of like. There's some weird Force Awakens vibes going on with some of the main characters. It feels like just literally in terms of what their characters do and what their motivations are. There's like a Finn stand-in and there's a Rey stand-in, and I don't know, man. I don't know if I've got to think it diverges from there at some point, but it's just very strange.
I don't know. Maybe it gets better. So everybody loves it, seemingly. So, check it out, I guess. But maybe it's not for Rainey and I. Finally, I saw a show here in Jax, this band called Bad Nerves. It's like a pop punk band. They are from the UK, and they've got a tour going on now. If you're into pop punk, check them out. They're super badass. Really high energy, young dudes, super, super nice. Check them out. They're great. Bad Nerves. Cool. And that's it. That's all I got. We don't have any voicemails this week, but if you guys are listening and would like to call and leave one for next week, hit us up at 904-638-3231.
Why don't you ever call me anymore?
What should we ask, folks? Why only call me? Call us when you're high, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a while since somebody's done that.
Yeah, it used to be a pretty regular thing. Everybody grew up, I guess.
Everybody grew up.
That doesn't track.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
Let us know about, I don't know, maybe more modern classics. Chime in with some modern classics. Perhaps.
Just tell us like your Strangers takes. Like if there's anybody who wants to defend the Stranger and tell us to fuck ourselves, then please, I will listen intently.
Call in with strange encounters with strangers.
Oh my.
Oh man, we might get some wild stories, which is what we want.
Which is what we want. Yeah. Call in and let us know about your strange tales with strangers.
Tell us about your strange tales of San Francisco, please.
Let's make as many articles.
Wrong podcast.
Yeah. 904-638-3231. Call in, let us know. We did get a voicemail, actually, though. Or not a voicemail, an email. We got a really nice email.
Oh.
Do you have that, Juice?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I forgot we were going to read it, but I do have it, yes.
We can hit that real quick.
Okay. So I'm not going to read this person's name just because I don't know if they sent this with the intent for us to read it. So I'll just leave that out.
Keep it anonymous.
Yeah. But anyways, they say this. Hi there. Just recently found your podcast and I'm loving it. Hell yeah, baby.
Hell skeet.
Yeah, there you go. I'm a chef and enjoy listening to episodes to get me through the long hours. So I realized that I am way late to comment on this since you guys did the podcast episode on American Psycho back in 2019. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
5 years ago.
I feel my feet touching the dirt of my own grave right now.
God damn. Randy, fuck.
Oh, boys, imagine what will be in another 5 years. Am I?
Episode 3000.
But I am just listening to it. Somebody's going to be commenting on the Strangers chapter. American Psycho back in 2019, but I'm just listening to it now, and I actually just read the book last week. If I may, I'd like to give my insight on the film versus book, and I apologize if people have already emailed you to say these things. They don't. People don't care about us. In the novel of American Psycho, Patrick Bateman is 100% doing all the murders, and they are far worse in the book. His confession on the phone in the film is actually referencing all the murders in the book that they left out of the film. That's cool. The point of the movie is that everyone around them are so self-absorbed that you can be a crazy psychopath and no one would realize, especially because no one can remember who anyone actually is. And the thing about Paul Allen is that the realtor checked on the apartment, and in the time that Bateman wasn't there, she had it cleaned up because that would just cause legal trouble. And we all know that everyone in this story is focused on money and success. The woman seems very cold and a little scary herself, and seems to sense the weirdness in Patrick telling him not to cause any trouble. She likely knew people who would dispose of whatever she found of in that apartment. I used to be one of those people who thought he imagined it all due to the way the film was made, but apparently the director even said she didn't intend for it to be so ambiguous. The way the book is written, though, is very real and visceral, and I've read and confirmed that it's all truly happening. Okay, which is wild. But I honestly kind of like it better that way. Anyways, I just wanted to share some of that info with you as a fan of horror, American Psycho, and your podcast. I have an entire list of episodes to catch up on for a while. Thank you for doing what you do.
I'm going to keep this.
My old boy anyway. I did.
I'll write down the timestamp so I can beat that.
dead motherfuckers just said that shit.
If Bob edited this, I read the name that I said at the beginning of reading that I would not read.
You can't put it on a teleprompter. He'll read it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. Well, thanks for calling in, anonymous person. That is a really
mystery
nice email you sent. And also some interesting context for American Psycho.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it in a while, but I love the idea of everybody in that movie being so self-involved that anonymity is just a given. They couldn't possibly begin to give a fuck about you. So you're free to do whatever you want to do. That
is interesting.
Really
I also
wild.
like that element of the confession kind of touching on some of the...
I feel like
that's a cool
somewhere.
element. Yeah, I can't remember if that. I guess it did come up, but yeah, it's just a cool way to work it. You always hear, something from the book. It doesn't get where. That's a cool way to work it in.
Nod.
Yeah. I kind of agree that I kind of conceptually better that people are so self-absorbed, because that is kind of the point. Is people are so self-absorbed that this is all happening right under their nose, or isn't, that he's just insane under their nose, whether or not he's killing people.
Especially when he starts to say crazy shit and nobody seems to realize, and you're like, well, is it in his mind? Yeah.
People are going missing or whatever. All that shit. But I also experientially, I still very much like that the movie plays out the way it does, because the ambiguity around Willem Dafoe and the way they filmed that, we know that famous bit of trivia that he filmed it as if he knew, as if he didn't know, as if you couldn't tell, and they mixed them all up and mixed and matched them. I love that.
That's
experientially,
cool.
It just keeps me on my toes. So I guess I'm split, but still a great movie, and
I like
very
both
interesting
aspects or ideas of it. Yeah.
Either way, either way, it just works. You can't. It's a win-win. Yeah. Pretty solid trivia though for the movie and the book in general. So thanks for that email. Really appreciate it. If anybody else wants to send us an email, if you just don't feel comfortable leaving a voicemail, that's cool. Just hit us up at straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
And hit us up.
Please contact us. Please clap.
Yeah.
Oh,
Randy, I'll clap for you. Here you go. I got you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
That's for you.
I appreciate.
Anything else, boys? That's pretty much it, I think.
Yeah, man. I mean,
our
you can keep
show.
complaining for another hour, I
We
guess.
did
But
the show. Well, in that case, we are going to be back next week with a brand new episode. As always, we're going to be tackling the next You pick the flick. This one was chosen by the one, the only G to the baby. The movie,
Whoa!
holler, holler. The movie is Dead
Holler.
and Buried from 1981.
All
right.
Check it out.
I don't think I've seen that. Might be a first
I
time
have
watch
not.
for a Shaboy.
Nice. I think last time I checked, it was on Shudder. Whenever G-Baby sent this in a few weeks ago, I looked, and it was on Shudder. So I think it's still there. If not, it's definitely on Blu-ray. Easy to find that way. But check it out. Dead and Buried from 1981. Joe Bob did it last season, I think. So there might even be some Joe Bob stuff on Shudder too. So check all that stuff out. Get ready for next week's show. And until then, we're on all the social medias. Just search Straight Chilling Podcast and we'll pop right up. If you want to join in our daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up on social media, say so, and I'll send you a link so you can join. Talk about the movie of the week, but also TV shows, video games. We trade recipes, pictures of our pets. It's very much a whole community and not just bashing on The Strangers Chapter 1. I promise.
But there's some of that.
There's a
as
little
well.
bit of that. There's a little bit of that too. Cool. So yeah, until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Come back anytime.